Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. Ha ha ha. It's nice to see everybody. Hi, Nikki. Hi, Alan B Dog. Nice to see you all. Um, Nikki told me about Mr. T talking about all these in, and then I guess I could say Vaders, like Darth Vader's, but in instead of Darth. And he said they're coming from parts unknown. Well, I can tell you what, they're not coming from my parts unknown. Ha ha ha. My parts are unknown on our side of the border. So anyway, let me see. Lone Wolf, how you doing? Miss Minnersu, how you doing? But yeah, that was cute. He's done that before. Uh, Sometime last year, I can say that now for just about anything. Oh, it was last year. Mr. T brought up parts unknown. Hi, Wild West Stock. How you doing, Lucy? How you doing? So anyway, I usually don't broadcast when Mr. T gives a speech because it's difficult to get things together, to get your thoughts together, and take a few little jot down a few little things and be up before it gets too late. But uh, I'm not going to be broadcasting unless something big happens. I won't be broadcasting tomorrow. So I said, well, I better get up there and check it with everybody because there's so much going on and so much we can say I told you so about. And why wear the news, the KNEWs. So much stuff coming out. What can I talk about? Megyn Kelly? I know a lot of you heard about Megyn Kelly, what she said about, I'm going to call him, let's see, I'm going to call him Jeffy. Jeffy. Okay, because the other names uh, uh, flick the switch on the rhythm, right? The algo. All right. So I'm going to call him Jeffy. And she talked about Jeffy, and I'll get into that. And more stuff going on. I put so many times in my videos, so many things that are being repeated now that most people have never heard, but we've been paying attention to it on this channel and the channel that got X3 acuted, okay? Over 200 videos. Anyway, we've known about the stuff, but we're going to keep on talking about it and hope we have some friends come in that are trying to wake up and come about. We'll help them as best we can, right? How you doing, Ken? Ian, Sissy, how you all? Melinda's in here. How you doing, Melinda? Angela. Hi, Angela. Heard Mr. T say parts unknown. So Nikki heard it and sent me that video. That was cute. Maybe I can play that when I do a picture show. We'll see. I always got some ideas for a picture show and work. The cat, how you doing? Red phone, bat phones, really? Oh, yeah, we got to keep our phones with us. You never know. Well, most everybody keeps their phones with them at all times anyway. We're addicted to this technological stuff. But I tell you what, the 15th, Monday the 15th, Mr. T said, I'll be there. I will be there. He's going to physically be in Iowa. Boy, won't that be something. You talk about a draw. I bet you there'd be 100,000 people. I'm not kidding you. SM, how you doing? When he said I'm going to be there for the Iowa caucuses, let's see what kind of stunts they try to pull. That we had that terrible incident in school, and I had some resistance in the chats talking about it. But hey, some people are going to be facing some uncomfortable truths. The person that committed that thing, underage, okay, lived a certain lifestyle, was recruited in my mind into that lifestyle. You're if you're under 18, you're not of an age to contract. You can't. If you signed a contract to buy something for, you know, $10 or 50,000 or $100,000 or whatever, and took off, and say somebody signed a contract with you, you're 17, 16, whatever, for a Ferrari, and they sign a contract. Yes, I will pay you for the Ferrari. Now give me the keys. And they take off the Ferrari and never come back. Guess what? It's your fault, stupid, because they can't be held bound by contracts. Okay. Oh, but in this new world, okay, the odor of the new world, they can come up and talk about adult subjects with other people's children and tell them to keep quiet about it, keep it a secret, keep it safe, keep it secret. Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens with that. Like on my thumbnail, Cohen, he's one of many. Mr. T put up a truth and said, when's this dirtbag or scumbag or whatever name he called him, fine with me. When's he going to jail? One of many. I mean, I could sit all night and write down names. Who's next? Or who's going down the road? It's going to be a lot of them. So Biden babbled. I'm almost as bad as him. Biden babbled on his big, I guess, long away. I know who the hell was waiting for it. I wasn't. I didn't even watch it. His speech, and all he did was smear people. You know, all these people who want to vote for Mr. T. There's so many of them. They're creating a threat to democracy. Isn't that something? There are so many people that want to vote for Mr. T. They're actually endangering democracy. Debbie, how you doing? Let's see. Well, it's going to be a lot of stuff coming out. Yeah, misspell the keywords and keep the caps to a minimum. So, I don't see who's in here. Oh, there's Miss Mindersue came in. How you doing, Miss Mindersue? And I make sure I get, if we got more than one Debbie, yeah, Debbie G and Debbie K. How you doing? The boss called it out. Debbie said, yeah, he doesn't change one iota. He's going to sign executive orders to stop the TRANS, okay? Insanity. So, man, I tell you what, now I've been seeing it come out. I have played it multiple times for the last 2 years. That video of Amy Rohrbach, the open mic, when she was saying, I had it all. I had all of it, all the dirty dealings, all the powerful people. I had it all on video. Bill Clinton and what they were doing with young people, and they tamped it down. They wouldn't let me put the videos out. Now, you know, it makes me so mad. Yeah, ABC always be covering up for the deep state. Chris, how you doing? Yeah, Chicago's getting behind Mr. T. Camperman. So, hi, Sherry. So, anyway, so now people are playing that video because I used to get in trouble for it. Okay. They give me, if I played that clip, especially the one Jesse Waters commented on when that Amy Rohrbach tape first came out, open mic, Project Veritas. They played it on Fox News, and you couldn't hardly find it on regular platforms like this one. Okay. And really would get in trouble when I played what Jesse Waters said about it right after it happened. And I have that same clip and I will play it. Starting next week, I think I'll be a little more in the clear and can withstand some more punishment. But I don't want to disappear for a week. But sometimes that's what happens when they give me a STRIK, right? E. Okay. So anyway, I'll just scan the chats real quick. I am checking out Telegram channels. I'm checking out all different kinds of things. And there's stuff coming out. Adam Schiff is running his big mouth. He's been relatively quiet, but he came out and put his foot in his mouth. I'll talk about that. Or did he? Or was he sending a signal? But I guess the real big news and the stuff people are like, what in the heck is she talking about? Well, we'll talk about Megyn Kelly. What did she say? Did you guys hear it? I heard it. She said she had some information on Jeffy. Jeffy. That's JFF with a capital E on the end of it. Jeffy. That we may be hearing from him directly in the future. What? People are people that have not been involved in anything. That statement from Megyn Kelly had to blow their minds. It didn't blow our minds. Okay. Before I got into broadcasting, and I used to be, just like you all, going around checking all these channels out. I remember that there was inside communications from prison employees when Jeffrey E. Met his expiration date, okay, allegedly. Right away, one of the first stories was that he was seen in a wheelchair. And you probably hear that here and there and everywhere. But he was seen in a wheelchair, handcuffed, alive, being wheeled down the corridor. Then he ended up going in a underground garage. And there was a van there in the underground garage. I believe they said it was maroon colored, like a dark maroon, dark cranberry color. Maybe I could be wrong about the color. I don't know. But I do know that it was a van, unmarked. And they brought Jeffrey down in the wheelchair, and the back doors opened up, and there was somebody in an olive drab uniform, no markings, no anything, just an olive drab uniform and a hat. And they put him and the wheelchair in the back of the van, and off they went. That was the big story. I don't know how many of you all heard. Well, I don't know about the color one. People can say white, whatever, but there's so many white vans. Probably was. That would be the choice I would want to do for a black bag job, because every contractor's got a white van. Telephone contractors, plumbers, cable guys, everybody has a white van, white van, white van. So, yeah, that's probably what you're right, Wanda, probably was. So, anyway, but if it was at nighttime, I don't know what had happened to him. I don't know what time of day it happened to him. But, if it's nighttime up, you want something, kind of blend in. But anyway, so that's the story a lot of people heard. And a lot of people heard that these guards had come upon some unexplained money in their accounts. Jet lag, how you doing? Yeah, that picture of him on a stretcher was weird. It looked like he didn't have any legs. Looked like just a torso laying there. And there's a whole bunch of, question marks about the picture, the what was hanging on the walls, and that just none of it made sense, and to a lot of people. But anyway, these guards claimed he fell asleep, and they both had been scrolling around looking for things to spend their newfound money on, right? And then some months later, years actually, it came out that there was some talk going around that it looked like somebody had gotten in to the air conditioning or the heating vents. And I don't mean like Mission Impossible, where you're up there inside the vent creeping around. And we don't know what kind of vents they have. Are they flexible kind, accordion style, foil with insulation on them, or are they steel, square shape ductwork? We don't know. We don't know what they are. But whatever kind they are, they're easy to get through and get in. And I don't mean physically with your whole body. They were talking about the notion of a flexible hose that you could maneuver, much like if people maybe in the chats probably are plumbers or electricians, or you have to take a camera and put it down a pipe or behind the wall and snake the camera down behind the wall or in some ductwork. You could feed that camera. Well, they say that it's about a half inch to a 3/4, maybe an inch pipe, flexible pipe that they pushed through and got it near the vent that goes into the guard cubicle. They sit there in this little glass cubicle and they're supposed to be keeping an eye on people. They can look through the glass and everything. And laughing gas. You open the tank up, and just like in the movies. Like when Batman would get. Remember in the 60s, Batman, that they would bust a capsule in front of him. He'd pass out. Well, anyway, that is some of the stories that were going around, that they weren't lying. They did fall asleep. But was it for somebody to come in and fatally injure him, or somebody to come in and get him out? Because whether or not the van story's true, whether or not it was white or cranberry or dark, whatever, whether or not that's true, whether or not the photo of him on a stretcher is true, the bottom line is nobody knows. There's no videotape. Then we all learned years ago that James Comey's daughter was in charge of the cameras, securing the tapes or electronic media that the cameras were on. That's not denied. I think her name, is it Maureen Comer? Comey, I mean. I forget her name. I could look it up. But anyway, the other weird thing about it, and some of you probably know this and many of you may not. Who did the autopsy, okay, on J.E.? Namely, Jeffy. Hi, Christopher. How you doing? That's right. It looked like, what was the name of that torso we all had to practice on? What did they call Annie? I think it was Annie. That's what it looked like. Annie with a Epstein mask. At least that's what they called down my way. How you doing, Araceli? Happy Friday. So, who remembers who did the autopsy on Jeffrey E? That's right. Ian, very convenient that his daughter would be in charge. They're like worms in a clump of dirt, I told you. That's right. It was Annie. Okay, all right, Christopher. So Annie with Epstein mask. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Breathe, breathe. Let's see. This is a real head scratcher to most people on who actually hands on looked at his BODY, right? Looked at the marks around his NACK, right? Claimed they actually looked at the hiatal bone that was, can tell you things about how people expire. Kicking Bird, how you doing? Kicking Bird would know. Kicking Bird would know, I think. Yeah, Nikki, his brother. We'll get to that too. Megyn Kelly and the brother talking to Tucker Carlson. Isn't it weird how they cremated him? Like, hey, your brother passed away, and you hear a match light or a lighter clicking. Your brother. We're here to tell you. Wait a minute, let me get my lighter. Here, your brother. Sorry to say, sorry, but he didn't make it. They cremated him as fast as they could. Nikki B. and Mailman, I'm trying to convey a point about now's point in time. Let's see. What's the cat trying to convey? Since I gave so much time to freedom, I might as well pay attention to the cat. Stuffing the envelopes with a fleece to cover their indiscretions. Stuffing an envelope with a fleece? I don't know. Who was stuffing an envelope with a fleece? Information can be selectively available and sometimes difficult to understand or analyze. That's true. Well, I'm trying to get the point, the cat. But let me see if anybody got it. And I don't want to miss somebody if they got the name. One pick of Jay's next, no beard. Side pick, beard. Weird. Who? Let's see. Thank you, Nikki, for putting buy me a coffee in there. I appreciate that. Let's see. Who? Did anybody get it? Yeah, Ken, they say he's still alive. Megan said we may hear from him directly. Directly? Who Googled? Oh, Christopher Googled. Hey, Christopher Googled Annie. That's what we used to call her. Braxton, oh gosh, that's been years ago. How long they been named Annie Annie? I saved you from the boogeyman, Wes. That's great. That's great. Who did the auto cup full of night crawlers in the cup? Money's to the side. I don't know. I don't know. Who did the auto autopsio on Jeffrey E. And it's like if when it happened, if somebody told me to guess, I wouldn't have believed it. But I saw the interview with the person who did the autopsy, who actually performed it on Jeffrey E. And talking, yeah, that's what he did to himself. He did it to himself. I'm an expert. So nobody's getting it. So I'm gonna ask and then give the chat enough time real quick. I'm gonna do what is that? Kicking Bird got cut off tonight. Oh my! I'm gonna do it Jeopardy style, and then I'll go ahead and spill the beans. Who did the autopsy on Jeffrey E? Da 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 dun 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 boom boom. Okay. What is, because it's Jeopardy, I have to answer in the form of a question. So I'll give a hint in the form of a question. What is the same person, Miss Mendersu, the same one that does them all? What is the same person who did the autopsy on our president, John F. Kennedy? Who did the autopsy on John F. Kennedy, the president of the United States? Dun 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 boom boom. Okay, let me check the chats. Okay. One more hint. Do you want a lifeline? Do you want to call a friend? Give me another hint. Okay. Who is the same person? I'm talking about a name. It was a guy that did the autopsy. Okay, Nikki. So you're getting down? Not? Are you sure it wasn't a tranny? But anyway, no, it wasn't. It wasn't a tranny. So let's see. One more hint. The final hint. Who did the autopsy on OJ's wife, ex-wife, and Ron Goldman? Dun 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 boom boom. Well, so I said, who did the autopsy on JFK? Who did the autopsy on Nicole Brown? Who did the autopsy on Jeffrey Epstein? They all did them all. And some others I just can't think of off the top of my head. I'm not a walking encyclopedia, for crying out loud, but I'm close. And I thought, he's so old. Why? How long ago was JFK's autopsy? 60 years ago. Dr. Michael Baden, Baden. Michael Baden. So wait a minute. He just happened to be, where did he do JFK's autopsy? In Dallas or DC? I don't know. Wait a minute. He just happened to be around for Nicole Brown in California? Oh, okay. He just happened to be around for Jeffrey Epstein up in New York. And other, I would say, specious autopsies. And always carries the narrative that the media is trying to pull. always carries the narrative. And that's just another quinky dink. That's right, Christopher. Another stinky coinky dinky. I just coined a phrase, a stinky coinky dinky. Yeah, it's unnerving. It's weird. And we'll find out more about it. But the brother came out and said that he can't get any records, that they've destroyed all the medical records, and they cremated him. And that's not the way the family wanted to go. Hi, Rick. How you doing? Hi, Garrett. And that was with Tucker Carlson. And on top of that, the same day, you have Megyn Kelly coming out. So, you know what? People are going to start paying attention. I thought, well, they're releasing these names just because Trump was releasing a report showing the methods and the numbers of VOTEs that were unlawful, that shows prima facie, without a doubt, the election was messed with. I said, well, maybe that's why they're letting these names out, because it's all names. But then I go, wait a minute. I don't think so. I think it's the other way around. Trump let that information out while this stuff is bubbling, because it's been report after report. Rudy Giuliani, Mike Lindell, on down the line, the Kraken, okay, and the general public was unfazed. So we probably figured, well, they're not going to be fazed with this report that Trump let out. But how do we get the nation's attention? Start dropping stuff about abstenio. I had on my thumbnail one time Clinton in the blue dress. That painting that Jeffy had inside his brownstone in New York. You know, the one where we saw Prince Andrew waving like a little fairy out the door at a teenage kid. Now you got Alina Habba talking about that picture, and YouTubers and bloggers. How are they going to shut that stuff down? A year ago, you had a hard time finding that picture. Okay? How did that picture get out? Investigators let it out. There's good people in the FBI. But boy, if 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, some of the stuff that I've seen, some of the articles that I've seen with photographs that I didn't capture and save on a device, I wish I could go back in time and do it. But we will be seeing more and more stuff come out. How many in the chats remember, with a picture, a ballistic missile being found that was actually being shipped by Amazon, and it was stopped by the military at a Florida airport, and it showed a picture of an Air Force, a member of the Air Force, kind of straddling over top of the ballistic missile, which was, I think, about 13 or 14 feet long. And it was able to carry payloads. All right. And it was being shipped by Amazon. And the recipient and the sender was not given to the public. But it made it into the Associated Press. I can't find that story anymore. I wish I'd have took a picture of that. Speaking of ballistic missiles, Kim Jong-un has shipped a bunch of ballistic missiles. Oh, I want to say, thank MD for stopping by, buy me a coffee earlier this evening. Out of the blue. I really appreciated MD, and they thanked me for helping to wake people up and thanking me for the work I did. And I appreciate that. I do want to thank, and I want to thank everybody else that's helped me out with it. Buy me a coffee. Christopher, Miss Minner Sue, Mike D, Camperman, Lone Wolf. Yeah, Gary. Gary's out. Gary works hard. He works like 12 hours a day. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for that. But anyway, Kim Jong-un has sent ballistic missiles over to Russia that apparently there's something about the NATO treaty that these missiles don't really technically violate, whatever specifications or whatever, because Russia's got plenty of its own ballistic missiles. But they say they used one today on Kharkov as a response for that assault by Ukraine on Russian soil, Belgorod. And you know what? I told you all to listen to check out World War II Memories on YouTube. And you'll hear, especially about battles on the Eastern Front, you'll hear the same names we're talking about now in Ukraine. Major battles, war crimes, like I talked about in my other video. I described the sniper who witnessed terrible things. But anyway, they talk about Kharkiv. They talk about the Dnieper River. They talk about Kiev. They all it's the same battleground. Fred Green. I don't know. We'll look him up. But anyway, Russia has allegedly begun testing North Korean ballistic missiles. Below, I see photos of what is alleged to be the remains of North Korean missile fired at Kharkov. The United States, this is a quote, has officially stated that the Russian armed forces has already used at least 2 North Korean ballistic missiles with a range of 900 kilometers in Ukraine and intend to launch them in the future. According to Kirby's statement, this one, Jack Kirby or whatever his name is, the launches took place on December 30th and January 2nd. So that's getting hairy. And the United States will support Ukraine as long as necessary, Kirby said, but not necessarily at the level of 2022 and 2023. The White House also reports that the United States intends to make air defense systems a priority on the list for Ukraine until the front can be restored. That ain't going to happen. But Mr. T said tonight, we're never closer than now. We've never been this close to World War III. So World War, okay, I'm not just going to be looking at Taiwan, where we heard Xi tell Biden they're going to get Taiwan. That's their intentions. We're going to look at all areas of potential conflict. Right in our backyard down in Latin America, what's going on? The U.S. is making moves in Africa after many African nations have divorced themselves from the French. Okay? What's going on with these ballistic missiles with Kim Jong-un? What's going on with the UK putting a battle group or a warship near the Houthis and things like that. It could come from anywhere, but it even got to the point where yesterday, this came from the Yonhap news agency. That is South Korea's news agency. I see, people are dropping off. I'm going to talk about this Epstein stuff and everything. Everybody, not everybody, but some people, there's a pack of maybe 30, 40 people. They just want to constantly hear stuff about, tell me about the children. Tell me about the tunnels. Tell me about the terrible things. Tell me about who's going to go down. Well, let me tell you about who's might be throwing a missile our way. Okay? We've got those creepos. We're going to get them. We've been talking about them for years. I'm talking about what's knocking on the door right now. As far as we could wake up in the morning and see a mushroom cloud. Just like the people in South Korea woke up with this news agency. South Korean government issued a mass evacuation for all 2,000 people living on Yeonpyeong Island in the Yellow Sea due to a possible North Korean attack in the next few hours. Okay? So they evacuated everybody. And yesterday, the U.S. had a strategic bomber crash. A strategic bomber crashed in the United States. ABC News reported. The crew managed to eject and escape. A Rockwell B-1 Lancer crashed while landing at Ellsworth Air Force Base in South Dakota. No other details provided. The aircraft is designed for nuclear strikes. Okay, we've been. These people are like cornered animals. And is Monday the 15th going to be a marker? Trump said, "I'll be there." It's going to be a crushing defeat. But like he says, you got to get out and vote. You got to get out and caucus. For the Uniparty, a crushing defeat. Never mind about Republican, Democrat. Never mind about Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis. Okay? We got to worry about the cornered, dangerous animal that is the Uniparty that is working for the NWO. That is what we're talking about. Epstein, his island, yeah, it's bad. But it's one stop off of many in a network of places where these criminals could go and do their evil doings. But just so happens Jeffrey Epstein's had a temple. Many of you saw what I saw 5 years ago. We saw the drone footage over the island of a tennis court. Then we saw the drone footage when they had rolled up the tennis court and it showed a sundial. Okay, an altar. All right, and showed the different alignments of the stars. And it showed the temple with the gold dome on it and the owl. What are temples for? They're for worship. What are they worshiping? What are they worshiping? And what's the purpose of that thing? I saw with my own eyes that they covered up with the facade of a tennis court right there at the temple. This is stuff that people that are not used to hearing this stuff are going to start hearing. How are they going to drown that out? WAR. That's one of the ways they can drown it out, and they're willing. They don't care about cities. They don't care about death toll. just like with 9/11, they don't care. If they want to bury the information, if they want to overwhelm the information, whether it's bright, shiny things or FFs, tragic FFs. I saw the drone footage. I saw the drone footage that showed the so-called storage units in the bank at the base of the island. And inside the storage units, in the back wall leading into the guts of the island mountain, was another door with light coming through the bottom of the door. In other words, they had passageways, they had rooms underground, and I'll get you all could do it too. That know what I'm talking about can get pictures from Rachel, right? Her phone when she went down in the subterranean rooms of under the temple. Hi, Judy. Hi, MS. How are you doing? Hi, Garrett. Finding Dory. How are you? Nice to see you, Finding Dory. So all this stuff is going to come out, and Jeffrey Epstein's brother did not want his face shown on Tucker Carlson. You know, you got to remember, we know it, but a lot of people, you know, who are new to this and say, well, why don't people just come out and tell the truth like Jeffrey Epstein's brother? Doesn't he care about his brother? Because he'll end up unaliving himself. I saw, and I took a screenshot of it because I'll put it on a picture show. I saw where one of the Capitol Hill police officers, using air quotes, is running for Congress. And I put in the comments, he looks like a convict. Well, a lot of the stuff we know, but a lot of the stuff people don't know. I'm looking for our friends that come in some here and there that don't know anything about this stuff. But I think after the Iowa caucuses, even more stuff that is going to come out, even more stuff. Because they got to juggle all this. The mainstream media's got to juggle all this. If they want to distract from the story of Donald Trump giving an epic thumping to the Uniparty in Iowa, maybe they'll talk a little bit about Epstein. All right. And that's going to get more people tuning in. But Adam Schiff, that's another example. He put out, I don't know what possessed him to do this, but he put out a tweet that said Donald Trump had taken $7.8 million from foreign countries while he was president, and nobody's doing anything about it, blah, blah, blah. Well, in several of my broadcasts in the past, I showed a specific post from our favorite letter. And you can look it up yourself. It's post number 325. I showed it on the screen after I blacked out that famous letter. And it said, I hope the 7.8 million was worth it, Adam Schiff. And that was 5 years ago. 5 years ago. It said, blunt and direct. Adam Schiff is a traitor to our country, leaker, national security, evil, TikTok. Hope the 7.8 million was worth it. Enjoy the show. Post number 325, you can look it up. Well, what would the purpose be, since Adam Schiff has been relatively out of the news, relatively quiet himself, whereas he was nothing but on the news 24 hours a day? What would be the point of him putting out of the blue this tweet saying Trump took 7.8 million, using the exact number, the exact amount? Maybe he's signaling that he got the message. And maybe it's a signal he's going to start working with people. I don't know. Yeah. He loves Nadler. That's right. They were frickin' frack. You don't hear nothing out of Nadler either. They're paralyzed with fear. But I'm going to get back to that Amy Rohrbach and ABC. Let's not forget, ABC is owned by Disney. Okay? ABC producers suppressed Amy Rohrbach's story about Epstein. What people are learning today, and a hell of a lot more, was already known by Amy Rohrbach years ago. Why was it covered up? ABC was involved. ABC's owned by Disney. Disney used to send weekly cruises with young'uns on board to that very same island. They would disembark from the boat and run around on the beach. How many of them got back on the boat? God only knows. So now you've got middle of the road creators that are finding out that Ghislaine Maxwell, hi Tennessee, how you doing? Ghislaine Maxwell, who's in the joint now, all right, she's been criminally convicted. She's doing 20 years. Also gave addresses to the United Nations close to 20 times. Was with Hillary Clinton when she was giving speeches, and that she's got a submarine certification. Okay, it's not a license; it's certified to be able to handle a submarine and a helicopter. So the Jeffrey Epstein flight list, that is important piece. But a lot of people went, like Trump went up to Jersey with it, Palm Beach, Jersey. Nowhere near any of the nefarious goings-ons. But really wealthy people, they don't need to go on the Lolita Express like Bill Clinton did 27 times. They got their own planes. And if you got passengers that are not, of a certain age, you just take them in your own submarine, take them in your own helicopter. Tennessee. He's out on an iceberg. Nadler. So, but I know that you all know, and I'm repeating myself, but hey, other than last night's broadcast, over 1,000 people have been tuning in the last 3 or 4 broadcasts. You never know. It's one person tells another person tells another person. But have you all heard? Let's see, I think it's going to happen January 8th. Have you heard what's going to happen on January 8th in Germany? I believe, I'll verify that in a minute. I'll go back to my articles. I don't want to drop off that the farmers have been rebelling in Germany. And there have been protests all across the country. They had a deputy chancellor on a ferry. He couldn't disembark from the boat. He had to sit and wait because hundreds of tractors and thousands of protesters were keeping him on the boat. They've had enough. So they've got this mass protest. January 8th, German farmers will close all borders for an indefinite period. All of Germany's borders are going to be closed with tractors and PO'd farmers. One guy put it out on Telegram. He's farmers from Germany. On Monday, the borders will be closed and traffic will come to a standstill. I've just been informed that on Monday, all borders from Germany to Austria, Poland will be closed for an indefinite period. So fill up your cars tomorrow. I guess they're talking about with gas, because they've been having to get their gas through Poland because of them blowing up the pipeline. Joe, blowing up pipeline. So fill up your cars tomorrow and go shopping so that you are equipped for 1 week, because the supermarkets will empty quickly and the petrol stations only have fuel for 3 days. Supplies will not come. So I don't know if you all have heard that, because the news certainly isn't reporting it. And we had to find most of our news about the Canadian truckers on alternative media. But now this is serious. And who knows what they'll do? Will they call out force? The police and the army, are they going to intervene? We'll find out. So that's going to be a big deal. Monday, January 8th. Let's see if anybody reports on it. I have some video clips of that chancellor being blocked at the dock where he couldn't get off. And I've got some other clips of farm tractors blocking roads. Okay. What is the main road they blocked yesterday? I think it was B259 or something like that. But anyway, if you pull up, if you go and check farmers protests Germany, maybe you'll it depending on what search engine you'll find some stories. But this is a big deal for Western Europe, because let me tell you something. For decades and decades, Germany has been the economic engine for the EU. And they have offset what they call the pigs. The pigs. Portugal, Italy, Greece, and Spain. All part of the EU, all using the euro, but they weren't putting out squat compared to the German people. And now you got the farmers going to shut everything down. Hey, that is the main pipeline into France and on into Great Britain. And if shipments can't get through Germany, they're going to find some other routes. So that is this coming Monday. The following Monday will be the Iowa Showdown. The Iowa Showdown, and Trump is going to physically be there. And I'm telling you, I'm going to predict that he's going to draw 100,000 people to wherever that caucus is being held. It is going to be the biggest blowout in election primary history. That is my prediction and my heartfelt hope. I'd go if I could. Hold on a second. What's this? Tennessee. Thank you for stopping by. Buy me a coffee, Tennessee. You can tell me to keep on telling the truth, brother. I will keep telling the truth. I tell you, I dropped the ball a minute ago on the truth when I was, my eyeballs glanced across this big stuff going on in Germany and North Korea. But I was talking about ABC. Let's not forget ABC. I already went through owned by Disney. Disney having the cruises down to the island weekly for years, okay, that they covered up Amy's story on Epstein. But don't forget that ABC producers were responsible for the television production of the J-6 hearings, okay? They were responsible for the editing of the footage that they released to make people look as bad as possible, to make Antifizzle look as innocent as possible. And they also were involved in the jump cuts and edits for Bill Barr's interviews, okay, and many of the other people that were interviewed in private by the J6 committee. All these ABC producers. Let's not forget that. And I have no doubt in my mind that they helped Nancy Pelosi's daughter with their production of an HBO special, trying to frame Donald Trump as an insurgent or an insurrectionist. So let's keep an eye on those creepos. And the other thing about that we heard, or I heard, and I know many of you heard also about Jeffy, was that when they raided his properties, that they found passports and paperwork from Saudi Arabia with his picture and a different name. So we really don't even know who this person is, was, whatever. So there's something going on there, but this Ghislaine, I remember reading with great interest before any of this stuff happened. I had a close friend that lived in the UK, and I see if I get my friends from the UK in the chats. Hi, Martin, how you doing? Linda, Marie, how you doing? Ha ha! Cameraman put booms there. Boom, boom, boom for Tennessee. Boom, boom, boom. Miss Mendersue. Oh, okay. Your videos are awesome. So, Charlie Brown. I'm just checking the chats. I don't want to leave anybody out. Where's our friend that doesn't agree with us? I thought we gave a little bit of go around. I wanted to ask some questions, some financial questions. I have a financial expert that comes in now and again into the chats, but I haven't seen him tonight. I've got some questions from a financial point of view. We might do a broadcast together. I don't know. Invite him on as a guest with my financial questions. But anyway, I had a friend who lived over in the UK, and I kept my ear to the ground for um, stuff like Donald Trump, and I was in real estate in my salad days, and I knew about this. The father of Ghislaine Maxwell, and I remember that was my fault, but I can remember maybe it wasn't my fault. I don't know. I was talking about uh, Robert Maxwell. I remember when he died. I remember when he was drowned. I read the article in Newsweek about it, and they found him butt up, floating in the water uh, after he was on his yacht. Okay. And it was all very mysterious. But leading up to that, I lost some viewers, but sorry about that, folks. I dropped off. I'm back. I'm back. I guess you all can hear me. Christopher said that scared us all. Wait a second, I got a message. Christopher went to buy me a coffee. Thank you, Christopher. Keep it up, my patriotic brother. Thank you for stopping by. Buy me a coffee. But I'm back. But anyway, yeah, B-Dog said who, quote, fell off a boat. But leading up to that, for months, there were constant. See, they have very strict libel laws in the UK, libel. And there was whispers and murmurs that this billionaire was in some serious financial trouble. But anybody that tried to talk about it could have got their eyeballs sued out of their heads. So nobody would really make a public article about it. But they were saying his financial empire was crumbling. I remember that very clearly. And I remember when they found him butt up outside his yacht, drowned. So I didn't know anything. I knew that there were rumors that he was part of MI6 or Mossad or both. There were rumors floating around back then in 1991. And, well, his other daughter, Ghislaine Maxwell's sister, is named Isabel. Isabel. And don't you know that Isabel Maxwell is on the board of the World Economic Forum? So you see these strings tied together. You see these strings tied together. What I just mentioned, like Comey, James Comey being fired as director of FBI, that was big time news that shocked the Department of Justice. Trump had him summarily fired while he was leaving his vehicle to get onto a plane. A couple of black suits walked up to him and said, "No plane for you today, Mr. Comey. You're fired. Get your ASS in this vehicle." And that's the way it went down. I saw aerial footage of that. when he thought he was going to be leaving one way and he got escorted to another vehicle. And don't you know what they did then? They searched his office and they broke into his safe. I remember that stuff. That's when he took his notes that he took with the president of the United States. He wasn't president-elect. He was the sitting president, having a confidential meeting with the director of the FBI. Every note that he took was government property of that meeting and classified. They couldn't find those notes. What happened to those notes? He gave those notes to a Harvard professor. And that's when stories started coming out in the newspaper that Trump, they allege that he threatened Comey saying, I want you to be loyal to me. And the press spun it like Trump was a dictator demanding Comey be loyal just to him. And Trump said he better hope there wasn't a tape recorder around for that meeting, for the stuff that's being said. Well, anyway, people wanted to know, what the hell did he do with his notes? Who did he give them to? Then they found out it was this Harvard professor, which I think is Lawrence Tribe, who I've said before is going to go to jail for calling for the arrest of Donald Trump way, way back before this stuff started. Agitating, okay? Anyway, Comey's excuse was that he said he had the power to deputize people while he was still the director of the FBI, and he deputized Lawrence Tribe and gave him those classified notes. Remember all that stuff? I remember that stuff. So anyway, so I didn't know this about Isabel Maxwell. Well, you got Comey's daughter was in charge of the videotapes of Jeffrey E. getting knocked off and nobody can find him. You got Peter Strzok, remember him? He's got a sister that works for the Security Exchange Commission. There's all different kinds of stuff that's going to be tied up, coming out. The Security Exchange Commission was going after Elon Musk. We find out that Adam Schiff and Peter Strzok, in violation of, at the very least, policy, is that they both were C.I.A agents, okay, wearing two hats, which is against the law. You can't be in the CIA and conduct domestic operations. But anyway, we'll get into that. That's getting deeper. But the thing is, you will find more and more of these threads connecting with each other as this stuff goes on. More and more of these threads. But right now, I guess the largest part of America's attention for this coming week is Epstein, Hunter Biden, another disgraceful example of criminal activity involving women and human trafficking. They're going to charge him with contempt of Congress. That's what they're looking at now. So you got all this dirty business. We're doing the dirty business right now. The Epstein and Hunter Biden garbage is what the tabloid stuff that the people want to pay attention to. We're going to be seeing this stuff being tied together. But in the meanwhile, Trump is beating the election war drums and says, I'm going to personally be in Iowa. And there's an avalanche coming that how will the media handle a complete blowout by Trump in Iowa, especially after Biden gives his speech saying that Trump supporters are all evil and a certain type of supremacist. That's a certain shade. Their skin's a certain shade. So how are they going to justify that? What are they going to do? What are they going to say? Nikki Haley will be history. DeSanctimonious, going to be history. Well, I think they'll hang on, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see about that, Martin. Martin's talking about Julian Assange. We'll see about that. I think if the DS was in control, the deep and then state was in control, Julian Assange would have been gone a long time ago. It's horrible that he has to be in confinement, but at least he's getting that bonus day every day. It's like I say, every day's a bonus. And it beats being butt up in the Atlantic Ocean like Robert Maxwell. Yeah, Debbie, we can't put that letter in. My goodness, that letter is verboten. Your comment's probably going to disappear, Marilyn. We just can't do it. I don't make the rules here. I just suffer with them. But next week, I'm hoping that I will be under much less heavy scrutiny and can talk a little bit better. And I'm going to close out with something Jesse Waters said, because Bill Clinton's going to be in the hot seat as far as the general public. This is the stuff we already knew. We're the Mountain Man News, NEWS. We know this stuff. But for the general public, it's Bill Clinton on the hot seat. He's a former president. Jesse Waters said, another email indicates 17-year-old Virginia Giuffre was trafficked to Prince Andrew and other men, including, quote, two of the world's most respected politicians. The names of the respected politicians are redacted. So go back around 20 years ago and ask yourself, who were two of the world's most popular politicians? Who were two of the most popular politicians 20 years ago? And there's also one name that's been redacted that I don't think is for their safety. I think it's for the DS safety. I think that name is going to be a shocker when it comes out. So let's all keep an eye on it. And I'll be going live. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when I go live. And if you have an opposing view, don't be a stranger. Come on in the chats. We're not going to treat you badly. And we may even have a good talk. Might be able to do broadcasts together. Who knows? But anyway, folks, I'll be broadcasting, I believe, again Sunday night, as long as nothing big time doesn't happen. And jet lag said it's, Bammy, the 107 redact. Well, there's another name that's redacted. I don't know if it's 107 or not. Oh, Bozo. Yeah. Oh, Bozo wasn't that big of a politician 20 years ago now. He was kind of 15 years ago. Maybe it was Bill and Hillary. Oh, my God. Oh, God, I'm going to get sick. But hey, they're a bunch of freaks, right? Creepos and freakos. But anyway, folks, I want to thank Christopher and Tennessee for helping sponsor tonight's program at Buy Me a Coffee. And I can't put links in my utizzle because they're picking on me. So if you go to buymeacoffee.com, all you got to do is put in the words Mountain Man and I'll pop up, and it works 24 hours a day if you're missing live and are watching the replay. But anyway, like I said, like, share, and subscribe so you can get in on the chats. Let me do a quick scan here and see how everybody's doing. Thank you all for coming in tonight, everybody. And maybe we'll do a Q&A, whatever, but I don't know if I'll do a picture show Sunday or not, maybe Monday, but I will be back one way or another. Is Lord willing, you'll hear my voice and we'll be able to get together very soon. You all have a great evening. This is Mountain Man, over and out.